Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well today. Welcome back to another minimalism and books discussion. So in the last discussion video, which I will link up here, I talked about my journey into minimalism and what that meant for me as a book collector. But this video is going to be along the lines of how I, a minimalist book collector, go about getting rid of books and acquiring books. The first thing I do and that I would suggest to everybody is think about what your collection means to you and what you want it to mean to you. For me, my book's supposed to represent a collection of things that I've read and that I've experienced and that I've loved and that I want to go back to, as well as things that I haven't read yet but that I am very excited for and that I'm looking forward to and that motivate me to want to read more. If there's any book that doesn't really fall into that category, those are the books that I generally tend to get rid of. So I'm just going to jump straight to the elephant in the room now because this is something that book collectors have trouble with. And that is, of course, getting rid of books that you have not as yet read. The first thing I want you to do is think about the time that you bought this book and why you bought it. Did you buy it 2 years ago when you were really into science fiction, but now you're not anymore? If so, then you have a book on your hands, friends, that you're not interested in reading anymore. But then you might be encountered with this whole fear of missing out thing. What if I actually enjoy this book? What if I get rid of something that could potentially be my new favorite book? Well, that's true, it could potentially be your new favorite book, but if you don't have the interest to read it, and if your only reason for keeping it is this fear of missing out rather than a desire to experience the story, then I think you're better off getting rid of it. Because even if you get rid of it, you're not going to miss out on anything, theoretically speaking, because first of all, you're not going to know if you missed out on anything, and secondly, is your life falling apart? Is your life falling apart because of the story that you might have enjoyed? There are millions of things out there that you could be enjoying right now, but you just can't because we can't do everything, and that's just how the world operates. The final thing that people worry about when it comes to books that you haven't read as yet is the money. You spent money on something that didn't serve its purpose to you as yet. This one I actually agree with, and for me, the main thing I tell myself is that this is a lesson learning thing. I used to buy books all willy-nilly and then end up getting rid of books that I have not read as yet. And the thing about doing that is it sort of trained me to be careful when it comes to buying more books in the future, which I'll get back to later on in this video. But another thing you can do to psychologically make yourself feel satisfied with that decision is look at this video by Ariel Bissett. I'll link it down below. She was addressing this whole money thing with regards to getting rid of books that she hadn't read as yet. And what she said was they kind of did serve a purpose in the sense that they served a purpose on her shelves because they represented something that she was excited for at the time she bought them. Moving on to books that you have read, this one is quite easy. If you don't like a book, get rid of it. Only keep books that you love, maybe only keep books that you give 4 or 5 stars to on Goodreads or something like that. If it's a book that you kind of feel meh about, you're not sure if you want to get rid of it, you're not sure if you want to keep it because you kind of liked it but you kind of didn't, maybe put that in a box somewhere and stack it away, and if you feel like you're missing it, put it back on your shelf. If you don't feel like if you're missing it, get rid of it. The final thing I want to do is take the idea of a capsule wardrobe and apply it to a bookshelf. So if you don't know what a capsule wardrobe is, it's basically something that minimalists do where they have a wardrobe that they keep a certain amount of clothes in. So let's say your limit is 30 items of clothing. If you buy 2 more pieces of clothes, then you get rid of 2 pieces of clothes that's already in your cupboard. So you can actually apply that to your book collection. I don't really like the whole numbers thing because I don't like to keep track of how many books I have, but what you can do is say maybe only keep 1 bookcase like that, and when it gets filled up, maybe get rid of a few books so that you can make room for new books to come in the future. And the final thing with regards to getting rid of books is just think about who they're going to. You're probably donating, giving them away, or selling them. And if you're doing that, that means they're going in the hands of somebody else who will probably enjoy them way more than you did or way more than you would have. Now let's quickly brush over some ways in which you can avoid buying and accumulating so much books. First things first, don't fall for the hype. I said this in my last minimalism books video as well, but you have to remember that books are products produced by companies who want your money. So they are going to hype it up, they're going to pay booktubers and book reviewers to review their books. With regards to hyped books, you need to think about why you want to read this book. Are you only reading it because people are hyping it up? Are you only reading it because of fear of missing out? Or are you reading it because you genuinely want to? The next thing is to do your research. So I look at reviews and I look at what people say about books, and if this is something that falls up my alley, if it's something that I want to support, if it's something that I feel like I will truly enjoy, that is the book that I go forth buying. And the final tip is also a no-brainer, and that is ebooks, audiobooks, and library books. Ebooks and audiobooks are available online. They might not work for you because you might really like the formats and stuff like that, but at least try them. And then there's, of course, the library. And the cool thing about libraries is that they don't just offer physical books, but a lot also offer to lend you audiobooks and ebooks as well. Now, the great thing about reading books that you physically do not own is that you can decipher whether you want to let a book into your collection or not. So you could go to the library and borrow 10 books and read all of them and realize that you only really love 2 and the other 8 were meh. That way, instead of spending all your money on all of those 10 books, you're only going to spend the money on those 2 books that you know you love, that you know you're going to read again, and that you know bring you joy. And that's everything. That's everything I have to say about this whole topic. That's everything I can think of off the top of my head. If you have any more suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. And until next time, inshallah, keep reading.